Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala.
When he's put on the cross.
And then rising up again, isn't it?
Yeah, resurrection.
Resurrection, isn't it?
Yeah, enlightenment. Well, yeah, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, look, I think Easter is a very, very, I believe, good time to reflect upon our life,
My doctor said it's like a renewal. That's what he said. I don't know.
Yeah. The place in close to Dalesford, which someone has kindly offered for the Ramana ashram, and he spoke to the local people indigenous people, they call it crossing, and in their own language. And it is a crossing, like if you see, even a cross is like, when you say it's a cross where you move from one to transcending, moving from the body consciousness to...
Actually, the significance of cross actually is that our soul is caught between time and space.
Yeah.
That's what we have to transcend.
Yes.
And rising, resurrecting is to go beyond that time and space.
Yeah. And I think these indigenous people also understood this. And that's what, because you were there, Ruchi, and they were talking about crossing, this crossing, transcending, we call transcending mind, transcending time space. And the beautiful thing about all this is that it is a paradox. Like, you use this time body. This body is within the frame of time. Our mind is in the frame of time and space. And using this thing, which is in time and space, to transcend time and space. So this timed body, which is almost towards disappearance, since it's born. Now this body and this mind, we can use to take that jump from the springboard out of this time-space dimension. So becoming timeless through this timed body. How amazing
like
it is. Yes, Neelakantanji?
Pole vaulting. Use the pole, go beyond the...
Yes,
it's I can't go.
Polo vault. And in this polo vault, you polo vault, but your body and mind stays here. It doesn't go there. But it like, when we launch something in space, or like you pull the spring, like let's say you are throwing a stone or something, through a spring, you release, that thing stays here, but that ball or the stone goes onto the other side. Like when the rocket goes, we give all that steam jerk and it goes into the other dimension. And this all what we have to do, gather all this energy, build up enough energy and take this eternal jump. And this is eternal jump sorts out all problems. Some people think that death sorts out all problems, but death doesn't. Because with death, the mind is not dead. And if the mind goes with you, the problems are not sorted out. Like, some people, because they are so much suffering from their mind and they do suicide. And suicide is not an answer. Because that disturbed mind is still going as vasanas and attachments and whatever the issues were, death does not liberate you. Transcending mind liberates you. So use this mind wisely and go beyond the mind. Take that jump. I think Easter is a time to take that jump. Easter break holidays, a lot of time, maybe more relaxed time for some people, not working that hard, holiday time. Take things in a different perspective. And I believe that everyone who is on this spiritual path, who has some understanding and knowledge, if sits for 2 minutes and understand how amazing, even in this dream, the grace of your own self is helping you in the dream to break the dream. And using the things which are timed to go timeless. What an amazing thing, isn't it?
What do you mean by that? Using the time to go.
Timed body, timed mind. It's timed, it's not permanent, it's impermanent. But what you are timeless, beyond time and space, eternal awareness. How amazing it is. Whenever you think you are getting old, know that you cannot get old. The body is getting old, but you are always the pure awareness, always the same. It is just life. Nothing can even touch it. Even, people say, I'm forgetting. I see patients who have dementia or, memory is getting. But isn't that's what we want, to get rid of all this mind, our story? We are trying to, though the mind is active, we know the story, but we want to detach from the story and we want to understand that this is not my story. I am not a person. So let's say if a person's mind is slowly disappearing, isn't it some type of a grace, do you think? Though he's not trying to do it, but it is happening.
But don't we have to extinguish the mind, not forget things?
Extinguish? What? Using some fire extinguisher?
Sanjayji, don't you need the mind to extinguish the mind? Just like how you said you need the timed body to get over time, become timeless. And what is it in the body? What is it in the timed body that will take you across?
Your attention to the awareness.
Yes, but that attention to the awareness, is it possible for people who are suffering from dementia?
Good question.
Yeah.
Suffering from dementia, probably, how can you say it is a suffering?
Okay, who have dementia.
Yes, who have dementia, how do you think they are suffering?
Let me say that they're not suffering. Everybody is suffering. Everybody who hasn't gone over time and space is suffering.
We know
But
that.
let me just put it like, if a person has got dementia, can they actually go beyond the time and space?
At least they are forgetting their mind, their memories are dwindling, they don't remember anything. And I can't say that they are going beyond time and space, but they are definitely, they are not remembering anything. So their sufferings are less, I believe. Suzanne wants to say something.
I just want to tell a quick little story about that, because I have a friend who was stressing about having to move her mother from one nursing home to another, and then she couldn't get the room that she wanted for, and lots of things, and she had a close friend at the place she was at. But then she got her moved, and when she went to see her, her mom was so happy. She had forgotten that she had that friend. and she was happy because she had this lovely little room with a lovely window and the sun and the trees coming in. She'd forgotten all about. And also the girl said when she was growing up, her mum had all these bad memories, and she said the best thing is now she doesn't remember them.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Revati, that is what I'm trying to say, that we use the word suffering for others. We don't know. Maybe they are in bliss and we are the people who are suffering, the relatives of people who have dementia, because they don't recognize us and because we are so attached to them. But then when they don't know that I am their son or mother or daughter or wife, we suffer because of our attachments. Probably they don't suffer that much. Maybe they are in bliss. It is very...
They may be in bliss, but I understand Revati's question. Sorry to interrupt, but it is a very valid question, because if they may not suffer, it's like being in sleep. When in sleep, you're not suffering. Deep sleep, you're not suffering. But you wake up. So they're not transcending the ego and mind. So I'm assuming, suppose they haven't. Then they're going to be back in the same cycle, right? That's what you're talking about.
Correct. Yeah. But for the time being, I think they are better than people who are not trying to be free. Their suffering might be less than those people. I agree with you, Vidya. So it is like spontaneous occurring of erasing of memory in a way. But maybe you are right that whatever was left for the next birth might not be completely wiped off. Yeah.
It's true.
But
I think Revati is trying to say that we need the functioning mind to go beyond the mind.
Yep.
No.
I think to a certain extent I agree with it, because you have the knowledge, then you apply it with the mind only, and then you have to take that leap of faith to, experience that knowledge that you have learned. I don't know if I'm putting it correctly.
Because if I now start, if I have starting into getting dementia, I have, for instance, not exhausted probably my vasanas and things like that, then I have not done anything. And it's just, I don't know, this physiological happening of the mind going into dementia, how is that going to help? Anyway, I've always wondered how it happens for people, who have dementia. What happens to them?
My mother
But then
has
I keep
dementia.
thinking it's not important for me right now. So
No, actually, my mother has dementia, and even though she has her recent memory is very poor, she still, whatever nonsensical stories go on in terms of that still is there. So there are times she's suffering, even though she forgets, but she is still suffering. So I wouldn't say that you go beyond suffering in dementia.
right. Okay.
yeah, Vidya, look.
Unless you're so far gone that you have absolutely nothing left. There is just
Correct.
Then maybe, but even then it's like somebody in deep sleep or laya, manolaya. That there's no how shall I put it? It's like it's in suspended animation. They have to come back and suffer whatever is there, before they can be free, I suppose. So that's always actually that what Revati said has always bothered me. That on the one hand you want to transcend the mind, but if you didn't have the mind, you couldn't do it either. Then is that true? Maybe it's wrong. I don't know.
Only Sanjay ji can tell us.
Look, I think this is only our thought about something which we have not entered and answered from their side. And what Vidya was saying is absolutely right. When your memory is fading away, but some partial memory is there, you get frustrated because you don't remember everything. But when you go to that stage where your slate is completely wiped off, your old memories of maybe your suffering or whatever has happened in life is all gone. Your grudges against relatives, you don't even remember relatives. It's all a clean slate, but it's not a deliberate, effortful effect of your any sadhana or practice. It is just because the mind, which is using the brain, that organ is damaged, so no thoughts are registered, and then you are free from thoughts. Whether this state you will call it self-abundance or nirvana, who can say? But the thing is that definitely there is end of suffering of the mind which we want to get rid of, isn't it? Which we also want to get rid of, but we want to do effortful in full consciousness and with attention. So I don't know whether I have seen patients going through all those stages, like managing them for 10, 15, 20 years. And I have seen towards the end, some of them develop psychosis and hallucinations and seeing people and all those things. Depends what part of the brain is being involved, which can even create hallucinations. But if it's just the wiping of memory, because I remember this lady I used to see. She was Chinese background, so she lost her English, and then she was just knowing Mandarin, and then gradually her memory was left only for her childhood memories. And at the end, when I used to see, she used to just have a nursery rhyme from her school days in Mandarin when she was in China, and her husband took care of everything, and she was always smiling. And I asked her husband what he thinks about her. He told me she's in a bliss all the time. Whether I feed her or not feed her, she's always smiling towards me. I've never seen such a beautiful smile in my life. And whatever he used to do, she used to accept it, and not doing anything. She's not asking anything, not disturbing, it was like a baby. She was like even baby cries, but he said, I have never seen her cry. I think she's in a bliss. That was his words. I'm not saying that everyone goes through the same stages, and some people might suffer more than others, but who knows? Whether you want to be blessed like this type of a disease, if a disease comes, who knows? Who can answer these things? But
I mean, isn't that why people drink alcohol and substances? Because they want to, they can't bear the suffering. They want to get out of the suffering. So temporarily, they escape the suffering. It's a kind of escape, right?
Yes. Yeah. Look, if you see, we have a mind, and mind has thoughts, and thoughts, we have desires and attachments, and we have a story and grudges, and all this, too many, 60 to 80,000 thoughts in a day a person has, and some of them we are too much attached, and then we suffer. So it is all from these prefrontal lobes, executive function, and which is the attention task. Now there are two ways. Either you give a depressant like alcohol, it suppresses everything and you become numb. But yes, it is a temporary arrangement. Maybe you can call Alzheimer's disease as a temporary arrangement in this life, and maybe the next life you have to deal again. Who knows? So I think, in all honesty, the best answer is when we are having this alert attention. Now, what is attention? Attention is also a function of the mind. Attention is the function of the mind. And you put this attention, which is going outwardly into the word domain, in the word, in planning, and you are bringing that attention back to the pure seeing, the uninvolved witness in us, and putting attention towards it. Now, who is attending to this awareness? We are awareness. That means, are we two people? So who is this? Who is paying attention? It is the mind. Look, liberation is for whom? Is it for self? No. Self is always liberated. Self is always in its own majesty. Then who needs liberation? An entity which thinks he is the mind. An entity. And who is this entity? As Bhagavan puts it, it's fake. This is the ego. Now, when you bring your attention back to this uninvolved, or you can call undifferentiated awareness or consciousness, which is leading the whole body mind complex and the world which we see and the dreams which we see and then deep sleep and the body, this is only involved as an energy source. When the mind turns within, pay attention to this awareness, what happens? What happens is when it keeps paying attention, this mind dissolves in this awareness only. But this turn should be 180 degree. It can't be like sometimes towards the word, sometimes here. So because if the mind is dualistic, because till the mind keeps seeing the word because of its own interest, it can't get absorbed in the awareness. So awareness is like a flame. It is like a power, energy source. If the mind which is going outwardly in so many things, thousands of things all the time, if somehow we call it grace, you can call it surrender, knowledge, understanding, even understanding that yes, I am pure awareness. For some people, even just this sentence that I am pure awareness, uninvolved, untainted, impersonal, and if they accept it, the job is done. Because if their mind is so simple, so open-hearted people, simplistic people, not very complex intellectual mind, they might just understand and it's all gone, disappear, because it is just a belief that you are mind and you are this body and you're acting and these, you have to pay mortgage and then you, and this anxiety of everything. Things might still continue the way it has to, but when you are detached awareness, nothing bothers you. So paying attention to this, and now attention is the function of the mind, and I agree that by a disease, if this mind disappears, it might give some end of suffering in this birth. But what happens? Those inherent vasanas have not finished because the mind is gone. It is exactly like some people get birth in other species, not maybe a human birth. What happens? Their vasanas were so strong that it is the grace of God that let's make this man as donkey, because he was doing all the donkey work even as a human being. So let him finish his vasanas there so he does not do more crime. Why we put people into jail, prisons? Why? Because if they are outside, the authorities decide that the society is not safe and he's not going to change. And so they keep them in for a while, or sometimes life imprisonment, with heinous crimes. So same is the jail in, you can say, in the way the law of karma works. If somehow it feels that this person cannot be fixed, then rather than him doing more crimes, let's make him into an animalistic thing where he can finish off his vasanas rather than damaging more himself by not getting rid of these tendencies. And when you come back to it, so it is a process, it's a cycle, it's a dream. But in this dream, all these things are happening. You are changing from one person mode to other person mode, life and all. How to end? If you know that you are not a person. Till you are a person, you have to follow all the laws of person. Law of karma, what you do, how you think on the things, what you act. The moment you look towards awareness, the awareness takes away everything. When I say the moment you look, but the moment you look 100%. So to look 100% can take years, or it can happen in a flip of a second. Depends how much you are interested in the outside world. If I'm talking to you and you are checking on your phone the scores of a cricket match, it shows that how much you are interested in this talk and how much you are interested in cricket match. With anything, I'm just giving an example. So anything in life, how much you have put your money into other things in life. Can you bring all that energy back? And can you pay attention to the awareness? And can you stay as an awareness uninvolved? But this uninvolved non-doership is for everything. Not just to talk like this. It is not any intellectual understanding. It is practical. It is practical. Spirituality is very, very practical and scientific. It is not a any imaginative thing, or you are putting a psychological, some sort of a drama or belief system. It is not a belief, it is not a concept. Actually, the life what we are living is a belief system. It is concepts over concepts over concepts. It's conditioning. It is a hypnotism to get deconditioned, to get us out of this illusion. You read all these scriptures, they always talk this, it is illusion and ignorance. Illusion, ignorance. What is this ignorance? What is this illusion? Illusion, because the world created by your own minds, when you see in this world created your mind, it is very rare to find anything which can bring you back unless you are interested. It's not that satsang is happening right now between all of us. Satsangs are happening in so many parts of the world in so many different ways. And there are people involved, and they are evolving, and they are getting liberated all the time. It's not like just few of us. But if you look into the percentage, it might be 0.0001% people, rest of them are still in the dream. Because how many people actually think that, hang on, is it something what I am dreaming, or is it really happening? How many people challenge this as it is not reality? Reality is something completely different. Reality is something which never changes. That changeless, pure awareness is reality. Rest of all is dream. How can we decondition? Very simple and profound method of self-attention. Attention on the awareness. And it is with all of us. If we are alive, we all have that. And if you're listening, and if we have that much of intelligence to listen to a talk like this with an open heart, it is available, and you can practice it in solitude, at work, in a group like this, and you can finish off this mind talk, thoughts after thoughts after thoughts. Because what this whole word is, because of the thoughts only. You think, look, this is the grace of the God. If you would like to understand what you believe, what you think, what you desire, you see the word in that form. So it is like a siddhi, it's like a power of every human being. The way they think, the word looks like that. And the moment you gather your energy, your attention, and look towards the source, you become the source. Because you are the source. You are projection from the same source as a mind-body complex. And then you experience this whole world. And in this world, there are religions, there are political parties, there are games, sports, entertainment, intelligence. It's full of, it's like you enter into an exhibition or a fair. There are so many things to entice you. So actually, this all is happening in front of our eyes, and the body-mind complex is there to get involved or not to get involved. And if you think you had enough of this dream and you want to come back home, then also it is so easy. You have to just take the same path back home from which you have projected out. Go back to the source. And where is that source? Source is within. And how can you see it? With the same mind which is projecting the word outside. So what is the power of that mind which can bring us back home from time space to this eternal, timeless, spaceless dimension? By just bringing that attention to that awareness rather than to the word. And that is why they always try to explain that until you are seeing a snake, you can't see a rope. The moment you see a rope, you can't see a snake. What it means, till you think this word is real and you are involved with your body, mind, complex and ego, you cannot see that you are that God, you are that awareness, you are that true self reality. Because that same energy taken from that source has gone into the mind and it's looking outward. It's not looking within. When you look within, then you know that I am that awareness, all-pervading awareness. And all whatever I am seeing is part of me only. Nothing is separate. Nothing in this world is separate from us. Nothing. You call it living, non-living, you can call it devil. That all devil is creation of my own mind. Exactly like when you see the dream. In dream you see yourself, and then you see others, and then you see fruits and veggies and garden and everything. And then everything disappears. So same is this. It is our own projection which is going out because of our desires. Even fear creates projections. What you don't like to happen, it comes to you. Because that even negativity makes you experience those things. So the thing is that if you go very deep into how people manifest what happens in their life is their own creation. I'll give you a very small example about exactly this thing I learned from one of my persons I met. He always wanted his son or daughter not to be gay or lesbian. And then he told me this, and the couple cried a lot that they discovered their son is gay. And I said, why they always thought like this? Who can decide this? They said, no, we are Catholics and it's written in Bible that it's a sin. I said, but why you have to believe? First thing is you should love everyone, whoever, whatever they are. And then I quoted few things from the Bible, but he was not there to listen to me. And then he brought his Bible, marked all those pages. That small pocket Bible is still with me. And then we did meditation, we sat together, and then I explained him. They felt lighter. I don't know how much he still is holding those concepts. To not love his own son. He loves those words more than his son. What can I do? I said, someone has written 2000 years back and you are believing that rather than seeing your beautiful son, such a nice boy, nothing wrong. It's that this is the way his genetics is, his mind is. Just accept him. And when you see what he told me was the most important thing, that he always desired that his son can turn into anything except gay. And it happened with him. He said, why me? This was the only thing which was unacceptable to me. You understand this. We create our world because of our desires, even our hate. What we hate comes to us. That is why the most important thing is total acceptance. Whatever religion believe or not believe, or what the religion says or not says, or awareness doesn't know any religion. We have created all religions. And then concepts over concepts over concepts. Those people who were founder of religions are dead long time ago. If they come back again, I'll tell you, they will be really upset. Because they never said like that. People have misinterpreted and we have made it so complex and so ugly. There's only one rule, which is love. If you can't love, you can't be free. And unconditional love. Whatever the person is. Because at the end of the day, it is your own projection of your own mind which has created the world around you. Because of your likes and dislikes, dvesh and rag, it has created this world. And when you pull everything back, you have no likes or dislikes. You're not judgmental. You're not critical. You have no plans. You are desireless. What happens? The world falls down. There's nothing left. It's pure awareness. It's like a spider web. When you pull back, it's all gone. Nothing is left. Nothing is left if you pay attention to the awareness, the uninvolved. You are always uninvolved. You are using this mind body to interact, but if you start projecting everything because of our desires, because of our likes and dislikes, the word gets created. And it gives pleasure, it gives pain, there is a joy, there is suffering. But in reality, there's nothing. Exactly like when our dream is over, you don't try to analyze the dream, you just keep going. And exactly the same is happening right now, because though we are listening to the talks and we are interested in it, but then we are interested in 20 other things. So it becomes more like a talk. But if you want this talk to transcend you, then you have to have 100% interest in your own freedom, to know what you actually are, and paying attention to that uninvolved self, which doesn't talk, which doesn't plan, which has nothing on stake. It is the one which actually is not giving rise to any thought, any desires. So anything which is giving rise to desires and thoughts and all those things is not us. None of us. And what you are seeing is your own dream. Then how can you blame others in that dream? If people are annoying you, you have created that dream, accept them. And if people, you are attached to them, it is your own attachment, accept it. The moment you go deeper into your own seeing, believe me, all your connections disappear somehow. All the way the things have to happen, you see in the purest of light. Let's say you are getting 30 calls a day and so many connections and all. Suddenly everything drops, no call, no connections. It was only your own intentions to attachments which was going to the other side and creating, because it's your own traffic, your mind traffic. The moment the mind gets silenced, everything just drops. The curtain falls down. And your seeing is only your seeing. This is the problem. You can't show your seeing to anyone else. Even if you try to explain it, it's so hard to explain the seeing. You can take help of some scriptures or words, but again, nobody tells you the truth. And that is why the best way to tell the truth is in the silence. Silence is the only truth, but not the silence externally, but internal silence. And when you touch your own silence, where there is no thought generation happening, you know what it is. So the dream, what we are seeing, this waking dream, is created only by thoughts. The moment the thoughts goes away, the dream disappears. And thoughts are because of this I thought, which has I want this, I like this, I dislike this, this is my family, these are my enemies, this is my country. So many concepts. And these concepts are carried by who? Who is carrying these concepts? They're all in the mind, but then there is something in us which thinks we are mind, and that is called as ego. But in pure awareness, when you pay attention, you realize that you were never anything. So the thoughts which were serving this ego, they disappear. They disappear because there is no one listening to them. Even if they are there, let them be there. So it is like a background noise. How long that background noise will be there? If it's a noise, then you can't hear each individual thought. So who is disturbing you? Nothing. And what you come across is your own silence in pure awareness. And in pure awareness, who plans what? You know that everything is on auto mode. The body is doing what it has to do. It is very intelligent system. It does not need an ego on the driving seat for it to function properly. And I assure you, without ego, it will function in the most perfect way, without any suffering, without saying that, oh, things are not happening this way, and I have planned and I have done this. Whatever it has to go, it will go. If for a task this body mind has to struggle 10 times, it has to struggle 10 times. If for something it will just come in your lap, it will come like that. So the one who thinks the things should manifest in this way or that way is just false. There is no need for any expert commentary. And how do you know this? By just once giving up this notion of doership, sitting in your own silence, doing work or not doing work, just sitting in silence and watching how things are unfolding. In this dream, there might be people who might not like you, who might be commenting on you, who might annoy you. Just watch it. Don't argue with anyone. Here comes the role of total acceptance of whatever the situation is, with your body, with others' body, with people and everything. Keep quiet. Summa yeru, what Bhagavan says is the Maha mantra. This is the just one teaching you can pick up and just keep quiet. And in that quietness, you will know who you are. That quietness will reveal you your true reality, your true nature, what you are. Because all these disturbances of the disturbance of mind. When we were talking initially, started with, dementia and Alzheimer's, and whether it's a transient blissful state when there is no thought, and then maybe it might come back, but who can answer those things? But look, we all want to be that where no thought disturbs us, and we want to be attentive to that awareness also. We don't want to be like an alcoholic without thoughts but don't know what is happening, or like in a deep sleep when there's no thought but we are not aware. So we want awareness without mind, isn't it? That's what we all want. And to be in that state of awareness without mind, pay attention to awareness and the mind will drop. If you keep paying attention to the mind, then the mind you will see, not the awareness. And this is very, very simple. Nothing can be as simple, because you just have to not do anything. To achieve anything in this world, you have to do something. Here, you don't have to do anything. Even you have to get rid of this doer, the person who thinks he's doing something. So when the doer, the person also dissolves, because you just using that mind in that awareness, that just seeing, but even not seeing. Let's say you watch people on Federation Square. You're sitting there and a lot of people, traffic is moving on, and you can be watching but not watching, like you are not seeing what is happening. You're just watching as crowd of people. But someone can be watching very keenly that this person is wearing these clothes and they have a relationship, and this couple had a fight, and this man is late for the train, he's running. So there can be an expert commentary going in thoughts when you are watching the scene. But then someone can be watching like awareness, just watching but not watching, seeing but not seeing, like something which is just going through. No, not judging, not liking, not disliking, no expert commentary. Can you stay like that? And for how long? How long can you stay like that? Like awareness, where you accept whatever it is, where there is no expert commentary going on, where you accept everything as it is, good, bad, ugly, whatever it is. I was talking to a lady yesterday. I had a Zoom meeting. She's quite a famous, I didn't know, she's quite a famous researcher on humanity, on compassion. She has done PhD, and now at Monash Uni there is a consciousness and contemplation studies faculty has opened with $12 million fund and donation to do research on consciousness. And she spoke to me because I'm involved in one of her research projects which she's doing on compassion, common humanity project. And she was talking to me exactly about the same, that when she went to India, it was a cultural shock. She could see dogs on the street and people and poor people and, deceased animals on the street. And then after some time, she said it was just acceptable to the mind. And then she found peace and spirituality. So the mind plays so many tricks, it wants things like that way or this way. But once it gets into this mode of total acceptance, actually it's all job of extroverted mind drops, leaving nothing but emptiness, leaving nothing but a blissful joy without any reason. Not because you have achieved something, because now you know that there's no point in achieving anything. You're already so happy and contented. What can you achieve and what knowledge would you gather to be happy? You are already happy. Happiness is your real nature. And once you know that, you're already free. Then no work binds you, because you do work, because the body mind has, this is what the destiny is, to do that work. So it is happening. You are not obstructing, but you have lost that passion or intense desire that it needs to be done. Then only you will be a good human being or an accomplished person. So touching awareness doesn't stop you doing things, but yes, it takes away the passion, because any desire, intense desire, is for some fruits, something happening later which will give you happiness. But if you're already happy, it's not going to take away happiness. If you're doing that job, it will be the same, whatever the results are. So this awareness is so profound, and when you are in this awareness, the awareness gives you a chance to keep speaking about awareness. It happens somehow. The beings you meet, the people you see, everything just is that only. Everything you see has a different perception now. Everything becomes so lively, so talking to you in silence. Plants, animals, birds, even non-living things, even people. There is something amazing about this awareness. You touch awareness and you touch everything in your life. You become so lively. I'm not sure whether you can agree with me. When I had first time I corrected glasses, the word looks so bright and crisp. When I was studying, I thought I was missing this word. It's so bright and sharp. With new glasses, it's like new glasses. Awareness provides you new glasses. Everything looks so fresh, so touching, so much like part of you. It changes the meaning of the whole word. That personal space gets broken, like the personal space, air in a pitcher. When the pitcher falls, this whole pervading awareness is only you, not just this small body mind. You move out from that entity, like the person, the frog, which thinks that the well is the whole world. when he jumps out of the well, then he sees this vast world. Who can say to you, and how would you experience it, and how it unfolds it's so unique in everyone. Some people leave everything and they go somewhere, or some people still continue what they are doing and maybe more. And some have so much of compassion and maybe gratitude for God, and they pray and do things. And some might just keep quiet. How it manifests in people is again very unique in different ways. And that's why the teachings look so different from religions and people who have experienced. But actually it is the same. And maybe it is a different way of its expressing itself, so other people who can understand that language might benefit from it. Who can understand this? But this is so blissful, so much of enjoyment. So I don't think all these concepts of, moksha after death of this body, liberation, not getting another body, who cares about what is going to happen after death? Why can't we just live in that awareness which is bliss? Why do we want to waste this life in suffering? Why don't we taste that experience of pure awareness right now, this moment? Why to postpone it for next, after death? Who cares after death? They talk about Jivan Mukta and Vidhe Mukta. After death, after body is left, you are Vidhe Mukta. But living in life, you are Jivan Mukta. We should all be Jivan Mukta. This life, whatever life is left, I don't know. Nobody knows. Maybe next few years, one day, 1 month, whatever. Live in that bliss. And that bliss is so profound and so... nobody can describe what it is, And to reach this is nothing. It is us only. You are not outsourcing. Even if your relationship with China are not that good, you will not miss on this bliss. COVID cannot take away this bliss. This bliss is your own bliss. Even whole world goes against you. Even the body gets a disease. You lose a job. You lose a partner. Doesn't matter. That bliss cannot leave you because you are that bliss. And just pure seeing, not involving your mind in anything. Try to use your mind as less as possible, and you will realize that at the end of the day, we don't need mind. Things are happening on an auto mode on their own. And once you understand that, and you follow this pointing of living a life without mind, in pure awareness, in that intuitiveness, something takes care of everything. This is the beauty of this word. Something takes care of. Like sometimes people think, what will happen, this person is poor, but someone is taking care of someone somewhere. Every part of the world, something is happening. Everything has a destiny. We think others are suffering. Maybe some people who are poorer than us or disadvantaged, maybe they are more in bliss. Who knows? We cannot say anything about anyone else because all the suffering is in the mind. Becoming rich, becoming famous doesn't mean that you have a calm mind. Maybe your mind might be more disturbed. Maybe more devil mind, more tricky mind. Maybe a simple person who does a labor job, comes home, has his meals and sleeps. might have a purest mind and bliss all the time. And the most important teaching of Bhagavan is he has, if you see Updesaram, he talks about action. Action doesn't liberate you. And I've seen everyone is about action only, achievements and action and hard work and all. Action gives rise to fruits of action, and fruits of action again binds you, and it keeps going in a cycle. It does not liberate you. Only this watchfulness, this witnessing of the pure awareness liberates you. And this liberation is eternal. But who cares about eternal? Let's talk about this life, this moment. Can it liberate us right now? Yes. How? Paying attention to it. Where it is within. How to watch it with attention, with honesty, with humbleness, with gratitude, with respect, with love. To whom? To your own self. What is the name of this self? Nobody. Some people call it God. Some call it pure awareness, Brahman, consciousness. If you love any God, you can call by the name of that God. Christ, Prophet Muhammad, Jesus, Buddha, whatever, or no one. Or just pure energy. Doesn't matter. But it is you only. You don't have to follow any religion, anything. You just have to follow your own intuitiveness, paying attention to the awareness. Leave aside everything. No other task needs to be done except paying attention to the uninvolved witness in us, which we all have, which we all know. More you keep paying attention, you can see that ego in you so clearly, so vividly. And seeing that ego is the end of the ego, because in that pure seeing it cannot survive. It is the death of the ego when you can see it, because that seeing is so powerful. Ego cannot stand it, because this is coming from that infinite awareness, which is source of everything. And if you're not interested in ego, ego will not survive that. It is in front of the source. And it is disappearing every moment. Even when you're listening to it, it is disappearing. It is just finishing. Maybe only the tail is left. Some people talk about realization as if it has happened like this. Probably it might happen, but I believe in most of us, it is a gradual process, and gradual process is also quite healthy. Slow unfolding of the knowledge of reality, layer by layer. And it is your own seeing. Each seeing, each unfoldment, whatever happens. I was told by one of the other persons whom I really respected. He was in India, in Bangalore, and he was a very deep spiritual seeker in his 70s. And once I had an experience when I met him. And he said to me, don't desire for any experience, not even repetition of it. Just write it down somewhere in a notebook. And like a signpost, and leave it. Keep seeing, keep going deeper. And don't stop at experiences. Because this spasmodic realization of self is not going to liberate you. But treat them as signposts. This seeing comes and goes. That means there's only a very light smoke left between you and reality. Just don't stop here. Keep going it. And that is why the best advice is, even when you are a realized person or in self-abidance, don't leave your practice unless the practice leaves you. Finish it off completely. Don't leave any trace of the ego. Because it is like amoeba, this much is left and then it will become so big. Let everything get burnt away completely. Like a roasted seed which cannot sprout again. Let it get completely roasted in the fire of this knowledge of pure awareness. Don't leave it. And even paying attention is not harming anything. Like, it can be sometimes tiring to your mind only, not to you. I want your mind to get really tired and fed up. So fed up that it leaves you. Stay in this fire of pure awareness all the time. It is a game of attentiveness. And that is why alcohol and all these depressants doesn't help, because they all make you dull. And that is why, in so many spiritual sadhanas, they say about Amrit Bela, Brahm Muhurat, getting up early in the morning, doing it when you are really fresh, when you have energy, then you can do it. Because it's all game of attention, paying attention to the awareness. It's not a tamasic mind. We are bringing the Rajasic mind to the Sattvic and paying attention to the awareness and bringing it, leaving aside all the actions which is, it's always interested in it. They are not going to give results. And come to this seeing and practice this seeing. And then the practice will stop when there is a complete seeing is already there. You don't have to keep checking when you have put a plant of awareness, taking it out and checking how many roots and how much it has come. When it will come, it will come. Kabir says beautifully, the Indian saint, that you have given water, you have done everything. Now the plant will come, the flowers will come when there is a time for it. Everything takes time. You have given a lot of water, but when the season will come, then the flowers will come. Flowers will bloom. So don't worry. Just wait. Do all the right things. Unfolding is happening. And one day it will come out. But till it happens and it unfolds, don't leave this practice, paying attention. And you can do this on your own, but the power, the energy of so many beings together, like we are 15, 20 people, that energy is so much exponential in your own or everyone's. It raises the level very high because there is so much of pure intention behind it. Individual a person can do, but the satsang, the group, the power is at different level. It speeds up your progress. And we should have gratitude and thankful to all the group, all the people, all these pure souls who are keen to know the same thing in all of us. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.